For decades, Bruce Lee has been celebrated not only as a martial artist, but as a philosopher, actor, and cultural pioneer. His life was short, just 32 years, yet his impact continues to ripple across generations. Everyone knows the legend of the dragon, but few know the people who truly stood beside him. One of them was Bolo Yeung, a name many remember from Enter the Dragon and later, Bloodsport. For years, Bolo remained quiet about his friendship with Bruce. He gave few interviews and avoided public speculation. But when he finally began speaking, what he shared wasn't scandal or controversy. It was respect, memory, and truth. Bolo Yeung, whose real name is Yang Shi, was already famous in Hong Kong before he met Bruce Lee. He was a professional bodybuilder, known as the Chinese Hercules. His powerful physique made him a natural fit for the booming Hong Kong film industry. Bruce, meanwhile, was a rising star at Golden Harvest Studios, a man whose fame was rapidly reaching every corner of Asia and soon the West. The two first met around 1972, during the making of Enter the Dragon. Bruce was 32, Bolo was 27. By that time, Bruce had already filmed The Big Boss, Fist of Fury, and Way of the Dragon. His philosophy, "Be water, my friend," had become part of his identity, showing that martial arts to him was as much about the spirit as the body. Bolo remembered their first training session together. In a 2002 interview with Inside Kung Fu magazine, he said, "Bruce and I were very good friends. We worked hard together, we laughed together. He was very serious about training, very focused." In that same interview, Bolo described Bruce as smaller than most martial artists of the time, but far more powerful than anyone expected. Bruce was small, but he was powerful. His speed was unbelievable. That was a common sentiment among those who worked with Bruce Lee. He didn't look like a bodybuilder, but his combination of strength, flexibility, and precision was something entirely new. Even men like Bolo, who were known for their size and muscle, were astonished. During those months of filming, the two spent long hours on set, often rehearsing, training, and talking about philosophy. Bruce Lee was not only choreographing fight scenes, he was shaping an entirely new way of cinematic storytelling. He believed that martial arts was not about competition, but about expression. He once wrote, "To me, martial art means honestly expressing yourself. It is easy for me to put on a show and be cocky, but to express oneself honestly, that, my friend, is very hard to do." That idea, that movement could be an extension of one's soul, changed the way martial arts would be taught and filmed forever. Bolo Yeung saw that intensity up close. In later years, he often described Bruce as someone who demanded excellence not only from others, but from himself. In one of his last documented reflections, Bolo said, "I learned a lot from Bruce, not just about martial arts, but about how to live with discipline." It's clear that their connection was one of mutual respect. Bolo, the strongman who embodied physical might, and Bruce, the philosopher who believed the mind should master the body. When Enter the Dragon premiered in 1973, it was a triumph. It was the first major Hollywood-Hong Kong co-production and instantly made Bruce Lee a global star. Sadly, Bruce didn't live to see the film's release. He passed away on July 20, 1973, just weeks before it hit theaters. For Bolo, that moment was deeply painful. In a 1998 Hong Kong documentary titled Enter the Legend, he spoke softly about his loss. "I lost a friend. The world lost a great man." After Bruce's death, Bolo chose to keep a low profile when speaking about him. He continued to act, building his own career through martial arts cinema in the 1980s and 90s, but rarely discussed Bruce publicly. That silence wasn't distance, it was respect. Film historians who interviewed Bolo say he always spoke about Bruce with admiration. He never claimed secret knowledge or tried to profit from their friendship. He remembered Bruce as disciplined, kind, and visionary, someone who pushed everyone around him to grow. Over the years, many stories and rumors emerged about Bruce Lee, about his temper, his perfectionism, his mysterious death. But Bolo never added to the noise. He focused on what he knew to be true, that Bruce Lee's strength came from his determination and his mind. Even decades later, When asked about Bruce's legacy, Bolo's words were consistent. He changed everything. He opened the door for all of us. That simple statement might be the truest reflection of their relationship. Bruce Lee didn't just open the door for Asian actors. He redefined what it meant to be strong, what it meant to be expressive, and what it meant to be yourself in a world that wanted to fit you into a box. His famous line, "Be water, my friend," wasn't just philosophy. It was a way of life, to be fluid, to adapt, to flow around obstacles rather than crash against them. And in a way, that's exactly what Bolo Yeung did after Bruce's passing. He flowed quietly through the decades, training, teaching, and living out the discipline he once shared with his friend. No bitterness, no myths, just truth. Today, when fans look back at Enter the Dragon, they often see Bruce Lee and Bolo Yeung as opposites, the graceful philosopher and the powerful fighter. But in truth, they represented two halves of the same ideal, the mind and the body in harmony. Bruce once wrote, "The successful warrior is the average man with laser-like focus." That line could describe both men perfectly, different in form but alike in purpose, both dedicated to a life of mastery and balance. In his later years, Bolo Yeung continued to honor Bruce's memory in interviews, reminding fans that behind the global icon was a man who lived and breathed his art. He never described Bruce as perfect, only as real. And in doing so, he gave the world something more valuable than myth. He gave it honesty. As time goes on, stories may change and legends may blur, but the truth of who Bruce Lee was can still be seen through the eyes of those who stood beside him. Men like Bolo Yeung, who saw the sweat, the laughter, and the determination that no camera ever captured. Bruce Lee's legacy lives not only in his films, but in every person he inspired, from Hollywood stars to ordinary students, from philosophers to bodybuilders, from east to west. And perhaps the best way to honor him now is not to worship his perfection, but to understand his humanity. He once said, "The more we value things, the less we value ourselves." Those words remind us that greatness doesn't come from fame or legend. It comes from truth, effort, and integrity, qualities both Bruce Lee and Bolo Yeung shared until the end. So when we remember them, the dragon and the Chinese Hercules, let's remember not the myth, but the men who dared to rise above limits. Two friends who, in their own way, showed the world what strength really means. Because true strength, as Bruce taught us, is not found in muscle or fame. It's found in the courage to be yourself, fully and honestly.